Welcome back to the channel. This is my 2004 Corvette Z06, which I purchased to be a budget track car. And in the prior episodes linked below, I've slowly tuned this up to fix a number of known issues, as well as do a couple of performance upgrades, most notably being new wheels and tires. But so far, there's been one big complaint that I've had that I haven't addressed yet, and that is getting a professional alignment.
Alright, I think the alignment needs to be done. I think it needs a little bit more camber. The turn-in going left versus right feels a little bit uneven. But the issue I have, and don't ask how I've tested this, is that at higher speeds, let's say hypothetically 120 to 130, the front end gets a little bit wobbly, which tells me the toe, which is how much the front wheels point in or out, that is a little bit off, and that kind of unsettles the car at speed.
So today I'm going to take the car to a local performance shop to get a professional alignment done. I'll talk about how it changes the driving and performance characteristics of this car, and then I'll hopefully answer the question of, is it worth paying more money to get a professional alignment? And number two, is a custom track-oriented alignment the best improvement that you can make for the money?
Alright, let's head out to the appointment. I've got my alignment specs that I've scribbled onto a single post-it note, and we'll just have to see how this goes, because I don't know what I'm doing, so hopefully they do. Okay, just got the keys back from the shop. I didn't want to film them while they're working because it's a little bit weird, but the numbers on paper look pretty good. So we're gonna go over those in a minute after I get back to the house. So let's check out how the car drives. Steering weight feels heavier, and I think that's because there's more resistance of the wheels because of the new angle that they're at. Straight line is now dead straight. There's a little bit of drift to the left and the right before. Now it is dead nut straight. A little bit of a bend here. Oh, that's good. I don't even know if I'm going the right way. I am. Oh, I like that. This is dangerous. Oh, that completely transformed this car. Braking stability feels a little bit better. Turn-in is better. Mid-corner grip, I didn't really press it to the limits too much, but it felt almost a little bit neutered before. Feels more comfortable on throttle now. Oh man, this fixed so many of the issues I had about this car. Oh, this is a lot more fun. Oh, that corner feels so good. So supposedly the two best things you can do to improve your track times are new tires that are more grippy and an alignment that's really aggressive and set up right for your car, which now I've got both. Oh, more planted. This is good. Stable under braking. Oh, that is so much better than it was. I didn't do a before test in this video, but what this car was doing was the toe, I think, was a little bit off, and I think the numbers that we're going to see in a minute are going to confirm that. So both at speed and just kind of around town, the car was kind of wandering a bit. That was especially true at higher speeds. So when you get like triple digits, 120, 130, it was especially noticeable. It was also really noticeable under braking, especially heavy braking, especially coming down from those triple digit speeds where you're really stressing the brakes. The car would wander all over the place on the front end, and it was a little bit nerve-wracking, and to be honest, it was downright sketchy. At least that's how it felt. And at this point, I have not gone those triple digit speeds yet and done a brake test, but all the braking I've done that was aggressive low speed braking, a lot more confidence inspiring, and I mean a lot more. Oh, that should not grip that hard. Wow. So the anecdotal feel just of steering feedback and how it feels in this seat, it feels a lot more stable, it feels a lot more planted, and it feels a lot more responsive on turn-in. It feels more grippy and confidence-inspiring mid-corner. And because of all of that, it feels a lot more fun to drive. You're not questioning whether or not this thing is going to start sliding out on you mid-corner. It just feels like it's planted and it's going to grip. Now, at least for me, that was one of the big things that held me back the first time that I tracked this car, is that I could feel it wandering all over the place. I could feel it getting a little squirrely under heavy braking. I personally cannot push a car to 10/10 of its limit, or even 8 or 7/10 of its limit, if I'm not confident that the car is going to do what I'm trying to get it to do. If it's going all over the place and I don't have the confidence that it's going to go where I'm trying to put it, I don't have that level of connection that lets me push this thing at its absolute limit. I think this, just the level of confidence alone that it'll give you, is enough to shave off a little bit of time. And then when you factor in the better suspension geometry, how it's now physically and mechanically going to grip better because of that alignment, and because of how the tires will now be positioned mid-corner when they're loaded up, I suspect we are going to see quite a bit of improvement to our lap times. Now, how much is that? I don't know. I'd be happy with 3 to 5 seconds between the tires and the alignment. As a point of reference, I was running a consistent roughly 2-minute and 5-second lap at the track that I'm going to, which is Palmer Motorsports Park. Now, that is not a good time. I am not a very skilled driver, and I also didn't really know the car that well when I did that event. So my personal goal is sub 2 minutes. That would be my personal best between any of the cars that I've driven on that track. It would be a 5-second improvement for this car, but my benchmark target time, and I have no confidence at all that I will hit anywhere close to this, is one of my good friends and old co-workers is a Miata driver. He does a lot of time trials, he does a lot of autocrosses, he's had the same car pretty much maxed out for the class he's in for years and years, and he knows that setup. He has that thing dialed, and he is one hell of a good driver. He posted a 1-minute 52.9 second lap, which means I have to shave off about 12 seconds from my personal best in this car, which I don't think is gonna happen. But with that, let's go back into my garage. Let's see the alignment settings that were changed and what they actually mean. And then we'll do my final piece of track prep, and then we will hit the track tomorrow. And that will be equal parts terrifying and exciting. I'm a little bit worried because I haven't gone out at all this year, and I'm not the best at driving. Okay, we are back in the garage, and I just have my VIN number blacked out here, but let's look at the before and after. So for all of these, the before is on the outside and the after is on the inside. And if you're looking for the definition of what all of these are, here are the shop's definitions. This is going to be way easier than me explaining it. So what I asked the shop to do is this. I actually gave them this sticky note. I wanted to max the front caster until they started to lose camber. I didn't want to sacrifice camber because all these things are related, and if you adjust one, the rest will change as well. Then for camber, I wanted them to go as high as they could while matching the left and the right. So if one could go to like 1.6 degrees and one could only go to 1.3 degrees, I would rather have them both at 1.3 degrees than having one way more than the other. Otherwise, the car would not handle evenly left to right. And then in the rear, it's harder to get negative camber in the rear, so I told them pretty much do the same thing, except with a lesser extent. You'll notice that these numbers are less. And then toe nice and straight wheels so that we don't have any parasitic drag, and that way the car handles a little more neutrally. When I was driving the car before, I could tell that the toe was out. I just didn't know in which direction. And this alignment, looking at the before and after, confirms that. I had my wheels both about 1.5 degrees off of where I wanted them to be, which is a huge difference on this. You're measuring to 2 decimal places, so 1.5, that is a massive, massive jump. Now camber, you can see here before, these were actually pretty close. However, you can see the left to the right side was not evenly matched. So we had more camber on this side than we did on this side. So now not only are they both where we want them to be, but they're also just a lot more even. Now they did say one of these probably could have gone up to 1.5 or 1.6 degrees of negative camber, but again, I said I wanted them matched, so they did a great job. And then caster, they brought that way up to the front as well, which is also what I wanted. And I know that these both look red, as do the front camber specs. It's red compared to the factory suggestions. It's not red compared to what I have here. So basically, when you put this car into the system, it automatically pulls up what the factory alignment is. This is a performance alignment. This is not a factory alignment. Now, if you looked at toe in the front, both of the wheels were pointed in. And if you look in the rear, both of the wheels were pointed to the right side. That's probably why this car was getting so squirrely under braking, especially from high speeds. So they evened that out, and then the rear camber, same thing. They matched it pretty well, whereas before, it was just uneven. It wasn't necessarily out of spec. It looks like this side didn't even change, but because it was different left to right, that would give you weird handling characteristics, which is what I had with this car. And finally, comparing all of what they had to what I requested, that's max, just like I asked. It's all even, just like I asked. Camber is still on the lower end of what I wanted, but that's the most that one of these corners would give. Again, the other corner had a little bit more, but I prefer it to be even. And then the rear camber, which I'm not as worried about, that was really, really close to what I requested of a minimum of -1 degrees. degrees. So we're effectively at negative 0.9 degrees here. But again, that's limited by the car itself. There's nothing else they can do about it. They got it pretty freaking close. And I'm more concerned with it being even left to right, which they did a great job of. And then for tow, I mean 0.03, 0.01 with an effective tow of 0.03 and 0.01. Those are phenomenal numbers. Whoever did this definitely took their time, and I am very happy with these results. Now, just driving back in the shop, that was only a 15-minute or so drive, and even so, this car felt dialed. I mean, this is like the best this car has ever felt since I purchased it. So if you're looking to spend as little money as possible to reduce your track times as much as possible, or to change the feel of your car as much as possible, this is how to do it. This was a performance alignment. It is above and beyond what a normal alignment costs. Even so, this was $175. Now that's a little bit pricey, but this is one of the few jobs that I will say you should never do yourself, because they use lasers to align all these things. I don't personally own lasers. I don't know how I can get lasers for less than $175. Partially because I don't think you can get lasers and sensors for less than $175. Or if you do, you might get one and you're gonna have to change it back and forth on every single wheel anytime you adjust anything. It's just not worth doing it. Get a professional for an alignment. It has completely transformed the feel of the car. To give you a perspective of how much it is, the jump from the old tires to these new, really grippy, wider tires, that is about the same jump in feel as what I had from going from my old alignment with these tires to this new alignment. That is how big of a difference this makes. It gives you confidence in absolutely every single handling characteristic, from turn-in to braking to acceleration. The car feels so much more planted and so much more dialed. Now, stance-wise, it looks, I would say, a little more aggressive too, because we got a little bit more camber. You can see it a little bit in the rear, but not as much. But the point being, there's no aspect that this alignment makes worse. There's nothing that you're going to be sacrificing by doing an alignment. Now, if you get a really, really aggressive alignment like this, but you only do normal street driving, because the tire is slanted a little bit, you are putting more pressure on that inside edge. So you could get uneven tire wear, but if you're driving the car hard, this is actually gonna give you more even tire wear, especially if you're predominantly using the car for cornering. So if you're really looking for a downside to a performance alignment, that is it, is if you don't use the car how the performance alignment is meant to be used, then you could have weird tire wear. That's about all I can find. So from a fuel perspective, that's huge. And then from a lap time perspective, this is gonna be your money best spent. Now, I obviously don't have the numbers yet because the track day is tomorrow. I will post those in the description below with a link to that video if and when it's done. But in the meantime, I'm going to do the last piece of prep on this car. I'm just gonna go around to all four corners and re-torque all of the lug nuts back to spec, make sure they're all nice and tight for the track day. And then I'm gonna pack a few basic tools in case I have to do any trackside repairs, which again, I'm not pushing this car hard enough that I need to do that most likely. I'm planning on driving this home. I don't wanna blow it up and I don't wanna hurt myself. But with that, this is absolutely the best money so far I have spent on this. I like this car a lot more now than I did 3 hours ago. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.